Hi, welcome back to OD YouTube channel. Today I'm here for a review that is not that unique. A lot of pen reviewers already made this. Everyone since Chris Rep 52, Wasky Squirrel, SBRE Brown, almost every pen YouTuber went around this pen, but because now there is a replica of this pen that has been released, and I'll show it to you in a moment, this pen is really, I think it's really interesting to make. I didn't have a review on this one, and I thought it would be a nice idea to do it. So what I'm going to do is mostly talk about the pen as I usually do on my reviews, but mostly try to show you some comparisons with some other pens, just to let you have an idea, because I will not say, I will not show anything unique about the working parts of this pen. I think the most interesting stuff will be maybe some pen comparisons. So I want to talk about this, and this is the Parker 25. I have a box somewhere. I don't have the box with me, but this is a very inexpensive pen by Parker that is no longer made. What I have to say about this pen, first of all, is that I didn't like its design when it was made, and I was in school when some people had this pen, and I never liked the kind of clip and this thinner part on the barrel. So that is me, and I think some other people didn't like it too, because it was not kind of a classy fountain pen. It was a cheap pen. It was created for a younger market, so I think some people never took it too seriously. It was made for the people between 18 to 30-year-old. At the time it was released in 1975. By the way, these informations I get mainly from parkerpens.net, which is a very interesting resource about Parker pens. And so I think this pen is like that. They sold many. It was a new design, completely different, made by a designer called Kenneth Grange. It was really a new thing. I don't think it was that popular or that interesting when it was made for many people, but with time I think this is kind of a cult pen, and some people really want to have one of these, and they are very sought after, but I will talk about that in a moment. So let's go and talk about this a little bit. So this pen was released in 1975, and it was made until 1994. This pen is, it has a very, I have a sticker there and I will explain it in a moment. So it has a kind of cylindrical cap that tapers down a little bit on the end. It has this green part on the top that reminds us of the jewels on the Parker 51 and many other Parker pens. So this green part, then the clip was a straight piece of metal. This pen was made to be cheap, so everything about it's kind of easy to assemble and to have as less parts as possible. Then it has this logo that is kind of pressed into this clip. It goes through the clip, and it has the Parker logo. It has the engraving Parker and then made in England in the back, and it has this green ring there, which is not really a ring, it's part of the section, also green. So there are these three green plastic parts in the green versions, of course. Then you have a cylindrical barrel that tapers down a little bit, and then it goes cylindrical and straight again. And this allows for one of the most interesting and well-known features of the pen, which is this strange design that really makes the pen very postable. It is really made to be used posted. It's kind of perfect to post, and it posts really high. It's not the so it gets very comfortable to be posted like that. There are some pens that also post, but they kind of post like that, and they'll become too long. This really becomes a nice sized pen. Then you have this very simple green section with a metal end, and then you have a green part of this section also on the end, and then you have a nib with kind of a unique shape that wraps around the feed. And when we unscrew the pen, we see the same part. The pen is made of steel, brushed steel, but it has the threads insert is made of brass, and it takes cartridge or converters, so the Parker cartridges or converters. So this is a very simple pen, and I think it is very well made. The nib is really interesting in my opinion. I have to say that the nib is one of the features I didn't like at all, and one of the things that made me think that is when I was really young and I started using pens maybe in 5th grade or 4th grade, I'm not sure. For me, all pens had a breather hole. These didn't, and I thought it was kind of strange, but that's something that I will talk about also. So this pen was made in 4 versions and 6 variations, and that's what I'm going to show you. And I have some of them because once I went to in 2005 I went to a store in Lisbon downtown, and I bought one of each color, the ones that are available, not the rare ones, that's the normal. They cost me 9.25 euros each. I bought the 4, and I thought it was interesting. And then these pens are very sought after, and every time I see one of these being sold by around 10-15 euros, I buy them just to have or to give away, because they are really interesting pens. And throughout the time I got some of those variations and versions that I'm going to show you now, so that may be interesting. Maybe also this information I also extracted from that parkerpens.net, but I think it may be more, it can be maybe interesting to see the differences here on camera, although a good post with photos is also nice, and there is that resource online. I don't have the link here with me, but there is. So there are 4 different versions, and let me just search for them here on my pen box that I brought to the table today. So there are 4 versions, and let me check them. Okay, so they are here. I labeled them all just for you to be easier to show you. So the first one is the Mark I Parker 25. So the Mark I, and I will remove this, I don't think I'll need it anymore. So the Mark I is a pen that has some features, and the distinctive features of Mark I version are: the top of the cap is straight. Later it became like this, recessed like a dish, so it is plain. The engraving on the cap says, not sure if you can read that, made in England. And the nib, oops, sorry, I touched the camera and all that. This nib had a breather hole, and the nib wrapped around the feed. So it is this is the Mark I pen. Then we have the Mark II, and the Mark II has, this is also in green. This is one of the hard to find versions, the Mark I with the nib with breather hole. So the Mark II has the same top of cap, plain. It has the same engraving on the cap that says made in England, but doesn't have a breather hole. So the difference between Mark I and Mark II is just that Mark I has breather hole. So this is Mark I. Then without a breather hole, it can be Mark II, 3 or 4. But this is how it looks. So oops, I already have ink in my hands, and why? Maybe I touched the nib. Okay, doesn't matter. So this is again, Mark I, breather hole. Mark II, 3 and 4, no breather hole. Mark III, it has the same engraving on cap, made in England, but it has this kind of dish type of top of the cap. It's different, the design. So made in England, different design, also a nib without a breather hole, like this. By the way, just I want to show you another thing, sorry, about, is that the nib on Mark I has a breather hole and also is wider. It goes around more, it goes more around the feed, almost in a complete circle, and this has a bigger gap, but that's just that. So Mark III is the same pen as Mark II, but with this kind of top of the cap. And the Mark IV, let me take this out, has the same characteristics of the Mark III, but in this case it no longer says made in England, and it says made in UK. So these are the differences between these pens, and I hope this was clear enough so you can identify the version of your pen. And I will put these away because I no longer need the versions to show you, but I want to show you the variations. So I told you there are 4 versions, Mark I, 2, 3 and 4, and 6 variations. And the variations were 4 flighter pens in green, blue. Sometimes the blue is very hard to see, sometimes it looks almost black, but it's blue. There is the black, this one is really black, and I think it's visible. And what am I missing? Okay, and there was also, and we are not talking about prototypes, we are only talking about the regular versions. There was also an orange version with this in orange. I don't have it, so that's really rare to find. The green is hard to find, but the orange is really rare. So 4 flighter versions, I miss one. Flighter means all stainless steel, and there were 2 color, let's call it color coated. Wow, where is the pen? I think I forgot to bring one pen to the table. Is this possible? Sorry, it was actually here over the table, but it was still in the box. I usually put pens in this kind of boxes just to bring to every video, and I had these in another video's box, so sorry about that. So I was talking about the 4 flighter versions. I'm missing the orange, and 2 color coated. There was a white one, sometimes all white and sometimes with some blue stripes around the, I don't remember exactly, maybe the bottom of the cap, not completely sure. You can find photos online. And there was also this black one, kind of a epoxy coated, which is really, I think it's one of the more classy of these versions. It's really nice. I like the stainless steel version, but this is also quite nice, as you may see. So this is the Parker 25. This was called 25B also because it was the 25 black. So Parker 25 had really unique design. And how does this design fit into the pens that were made by the time? And okay, so these pens came in a very specific design when the pens were nothing like these around Parker. So around the same time, I have here a few other pens. Some are more related than others. One of the pens is this. It reminds us of the Parker Jotter. It's not really Parker Jotter, it's Parker Mixie. It had this clip, and if you look at it, it is kind of a plain clip that reminds us this kind of clip. This one has the logo there. This one has the arrow, but the arrow is kind of a cutoff. And then it is like a Parker Jotter in every way. So this is an interesting pen, the Parker Mixie, and this was around 1979 and 1981. So it came after that one, but it's kind of you can look at it and see it is kind of a cheaper design. Also, like this design, we had. Where is it? We had the Parker Jotter that came later, since 1980, and also had the same kind of look as the Mixie, but with the regular clip. But I would say this kind of a simple and plain design. I think it may be nicer to look at, but it is really a more clever one in my opinion. I also want to show you just a few more pens that are from the same era. We had not same era, but I want to show it anyway. So the Parker Jotter eventually, nowadays, from a few years ago, it became to this version. This is the new. It's not called new. The new Parker Jotter, which has a different. It has the nib like that. It has. It's a little different. Let me show you the both flighter versions. I have to say these both post very well and deeply, but you can see that the new Jotter is a little bit fatter, and I would say it is nicer than the old one, but these pens came after the Parker 25. In 1977, we also had some other pens that were kind of strange because we need to bring ourselves to that time, and in that time, Parkers were fountain pens were in decline, and sometimes the design, slimmer design that reminded people of ballpoint pens were more popular. So they had this pen. This was kind of a higher range pen. This is the Parker 180 with a very strange nib that had one nib size in one place, in one side, and another nib size in the other. This one doesn't. Then they stopped doing that, but the first models were, for example, M in one side and extra fine in the other. This one is only one of those versions, but you can see very slim pens. This is a fatter pen. I think it's interesting. This one came a little bit later, 1977, but you can see they are from around the same time. We had the Parker 50, that is also kind of a slim pen, but wider than the 180. And this pen had a problem. I have a problem with the clip, it's broken. But it is a pen that has an integral nib, like the Parker T1, but because it's made of stainless steel, it is much more resistant than the one made of titanium. There was also the Parker, is this one? Yes, the Parker Arrow from 1982. Not sure if I have this in focus. This nib reminds us the nib of the Parker 25 a little bit. It's a different nib, but also wraps around the feed, but it is much longer. The other one is shorter, but it has some characteristics, like with this part that's not the same as that, but kind of similar. By the way, okay, I didn't remind, I have another 180. This one has gold trim, and if you look there, you can see this one had extra fine in one side and M in the other one. It has engraved in the feed. So, what more do I want to show you? But by the time that the Parker 25 was released, some Parkers that sold a lot. Before that, I want to show you another pen that I think is one of the most amazing designs from 1979, the Parker 105, with this different clip, because usually the clip is placed here on the top of the cap in most pens, and like this, and in this one it is in the middle of the cap, and also not the middle, but it is on the body of the cap, not on the top, like that. And this one has a beautiful nib. This is the Parker 105. It is a wonderful, beautiful pen. But when these pens were released, the top lines were clearly the Parker 75, which is, this is also flatter version, this one with the triangular grip section with the nib that can be rotated to have the right angle for you to write. So this was kind of top of the range, but it's clearly a more classic design, and this is more of a breakthrough. And also a pen that sold a lot, of course, was this one, the Parker 45, one of the best Parker designs in my opinion. It is a pen that also already, this one is older, it is here, it was made since 1960 to 2007. It is a pen that puts very well, but it has a more rounded design. It's really a very nice pen, but that it has a more rounded design. And so when they made this, if you look at some of these pens, you can see that the design of these ones were really unique, and you can see it was kind of a much more futuristic kind of thing than many of the other pens, mostly the 75 and 60 and the 75 and the 45, they smell like old pens. These look really like modern pens. So, other pens that I think they resemble these, in my opinion, are, for example, this pen, which is the Pelikan Signum P50 P520, which also has the straight ends. It is thinner. It doesn't have that slimmer part of the barrel, but any other pen at this time had. It also, instead of having the pelicans of the logo on top of the cap, it has them not on the clip but above the clip. So it's also the same kind of design in some way, and it has I think there are some similarities in this design. in my opinion. I'm not expert in design, but I would say they belong in the same family, and it makes sense because this pen is from 1979. And also, two other pens that I think they are quite similar are the Schiffer Targa or Schaefer Targa, and you can see some similarities again. The black or the dark part top of the cap, then the white dot that identifies Schaefer, and here you have the Parker logo and a straight design, and also a pen that posts really well and deeply, but then the design of the nib is very different. It is a very Schiffer design, but also cartridge converter pen, very similar. It was made in many finishes. It was made since 1976, so the 25 was also always older. It was also made in this black version, which is kind of nice. So finally, I just want to compare it with another pen, which is the Moonman, the new version, the Moonman B25, yes, Moonman B25, which is almost the same exact pen. The color is not the same, but it is made in several colors, but it is kind of a direct copy of it. The design of the nib, the logo is different. It says Moonman instead of Parker, but you can see the kind of design is the same. The colors that this was released are similar. There is no black and no white version like that, but there are the lighter versions, the green, blue, black, orange, which is a rare one in the Parker 25, and also a red that is not available on the Parker 25. But this one had a different nib, as you may see, and that's the biggest difference. And as I say, I understand this thing because this nib is more common, because this is the same nib that is available on the Parker Jotter. Where is my Parker Jotter? You can see it is the same nib, put deeper into the section without that arrow design, but it is the same nib. They copied everything except the nib. So was this an interesting thing? It was interesting. I'm not sure if these will be really popular, because some people wanted to have this pen, but the people who wanted to have this pen, I think it's like a cult. They may be interested in trying this one, but I'm not sure. I think this pen is really a cult by itself. People want the original one, not because of the value, but because it is a vintage, not a vintage, but an old object that was very particular in that way of being instead of the copy. What I have to say is that the rights over the design are over for Parker, so everyone can make the replica of the pen, and they don't really make it anymore, so anyone can make this, and Moonman did it, and I thought it was really interesting. But I will make a full review of the Moonman someday soon. Today I want to go for the original B25 or 25, Parker 25. This video is very long right now, but when I start talking and comparing pens, it's a problem. So just want to show you the pen. The pen size is like this. I want just to put here side to side with a Parker Centennial Dual Fold, which is wider, a little bit longer, and the Lamy Safari, which is also wider and longer. When we uncap, I never post the Dual Fold because it posts really high and not that securely. I don't think it's meant to be used this way. So this is the Parker Dual Fold, Centennial Dual Fold. The Parker 25, I would say it is meant to be used posted. Otherwise, why would you make that design? And it is longer, slimmer, of course, but longer than the do fold. And we have the Safari that you can also post. I don't like it, and I use it unposted, and it is from with this size. So smaller. If you post it, it becomes larger. So this is the pen. This is the overall. I just want to show it writing, and that's what I'm going to do now. So here we have the pen and paper, and let's do it. So this is the Parker. Please focus. Yeah, it doesn't want to focus like that. This is the Parker 25, the green Flighter. This one has a fine steel nib, and the nib is very good. This is Rhodia dot pad, and the ink inside is my favorite Parker Quink Black. I like it a lot. So what can I say about this pen? It has a very nice ink flow, very perfect. The pen is comfortable to use. I don't find this little step up from the section to the barrel to be annoying. It may be on the way if you hold the pen higher, but you can hold the pen closer to the nib, and it's fine. You can hold it any way you want. You can hold it, you can use it unposted, or you can use it posted, because the size is good to use any way. The nib is a very hard nib. You can press it, but you'll find just a little line variation, but you have to press really hard, and it doesn't make sense because it's not comfortable. It's not meant to be used like that. So it's a very stiff nib. I think it's kind of a sturdy school pen, but really resistant. I really enjoy this pen. So let me just check. It is wet enough. It's not too wet, but I think that's, and again, a good thing for a school pen or for a young people's pen. Many of the papers are not that good that were available or are available. People were writing with ballpoints more than with fountain pens, so papers were less, could be less quality because they didn't have liquid ink on top of them. So having a pen that is a little bit drier than most is kind of a good feature, because it allows to write without spreading over the paper. I like this. It doesn't matter to me. Some people really like very wet pens. About the writing in reverse, as usual with Parker, it is possible, and what you'll get is a much finer line. I would say it is an extra fine or an extra fine. So you can really write. So write with a Parker 25 in reverse. So it's completely possible, but very thin, but that's it. It's a very nice pen. So I just want to make write a little bit with it. I will just use my favorite book to write a little bit here, and then I will close the video because it's too long, but you know that I make the videos like that. So this is it. I think the pen writes really well. It's really nice. I'll keep buying these pens when I find them inexpensive enough in flea markets or any place like that. My opinion is that the new Moonman will be of relative success. I don't think too much, because some people will buy it out of curiosity, and I think then after buying this pen, some people will have the interest to go and find it. So I would say that the search for the real Parker 25 will increase. I think this is a great pen. I think the design is very clever. I don't love the design. I don't think it's beautiful, but I think it's really impressive, and today I can understand that the design may not be pleasant to me, but it can be really good, and this is a good design. So this is all I had to show you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was not too long, and I hope this was useful. So see you next time for some other pen video. Bye.